Welcome to At Your Library. I'm your host, Cathleen Clifford. On November 19th, the Groton Public Library will host a Tellabration celebration of story time. Joining us today is our teller, actor, writer, and actress, Carol Glynn. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We are really excited to host our Tellabration event every year. But before we actually talk about that event, I would love to know how you become part of this event. What kind of resume and background led you to this?
Well, I always say that describing what I do is probably the hardest part about what I do because it sort of involves many different things. But I've been performing my own, performing stories and performances for many, many years. I was part of the Penny Ante Theater many years ago. I have shows and things that I take all over to schools on bullying and Connecticut legends and the Constitution and all different kinds of programs I've been doing. I also do residencies in schools as part of my own company, Carol Glynn Productions, where I go into schools and the students are in the production. So we either write our own plays and they put them on within 10 visits, or I do things where we take a book that exists and then I make enough characters and everyone gets to be in it. So I'm in a school every day, just a different one.
And what kind of background, like how did you start this? Were you really young, interested in theater?
My mother will tell you I've been doing this since I was 5.
Okay.
But I graduated from Connecticut College with a degree in theater. I also went to the National Theater Institute in Waterford as part of that. And I then became a member of the Penny Ante Theater and was professional theater right then.
Here in the area?
In Connecticut. It was in New London, based in New London. And we performed at Lincoln Center and we performed at Wolf Trap Farm Park, and we also went to schools all over. So I've been doing this my whole life, my whole adult life. It's been my job, and it's sort of just it adds in this project or do something else. I've written a book because I have so many different experiences with teachers about how to take the curriculum and act it out.
Okay.
So how to put sort of learning on its feet, that sort of thing. So I've always been involved in it in some way. I'm now also added in. I'm the education manager of the Connecticut Storytelling Center.
And the Storytelling Center is the actual organization that runs the Tellabration?
Yes.
Okay.
We have moved to downtown New London. We were based at Connecticut College for 40 years, and we are now in downtown New London, which is a really exciting opportunity for us to sort of connect with all the other artists down there, connect right into the community down there, and do, we have a big festival every year that we do, where we bring world-class tellers in to tell and do workshops, but we also bring the community in to connect, and that's a wonderful weekend every April.
Okay.
And
it's open to the public?
Totally open to the public.
Okay.
You can get tickets for individual events or
okay.
the whole thing, or a lot of, it's really exciting.
So if somebody wanted to become a teller, what would you advise them? Like if you said you work with children and in schools, if somebody says, I want to do what you do when I grow up, like how would you guide them in that direction?
You take some classes, come to the festival, learn about what it's like, learn about what you need to do to be a storyteller. There's no one you have to fit into this kind of block situation to be a storyteller. It really, it's sort of about taking stories and making them your own.
Okay.
You definitely need to be interesting and exciting. Every one of our tellers has some sort of different way that they handle things. Some people use puppets, some people use songs, some people, like I'm very active. I'll go to a place and there's a chair sitting there. I don't sit down. But we're all different. We offer our own thing, but there's definitely places to learn sort of the place. And there's a lot of our Tellabrations that we'll be talking about later, but a lot of them are situations where students have been taking classes and they're now sharing some of their work.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you personally have like a set of topics or specific stories that you work on, or can a teacher say, hey, we're really looking to work on this one topic, can you work with us on that? Like how does that work for certain
So it is
things?
a little bit different for everybody. I have specific assemblies, but that's just me. But I also, somebody says we're studying multicultural tales, 5 different versions of Cinderella. So I will go learn 5 different versions of Cinderella. But in the Storytelling Center, we have so many tellers, professional tellers, especially in our schools program, that go out and do stories on just about any topic. So we have multicultural tales. We'll get a request and we go, who does that? So and so, so and so, so. Who would learn that if we don't have it? So and so, so and so, so. We have people who will just about do anything. So you don't have to. You might like what we do and say, ooh, that sounds wonderful. However, if you have a specific request, we're happy to make it work.
And in New London, how many tellers do you have, or do you work with storytelling centers or all over?
So there are storytelling centers all over the country. Our office is based in New London, but we have tellers who live all over Connecticut. We have tellers who live in New York. We have tellers who live in Rhode Island. But our schools program, we work with 10,000 kids a year, at least, and we write a lot of grants, and we send teachers out to. Tellers out, but we'll book them and they go from where they live to the school and then go back.
So it's not like everybody comes to an office every
that would
morning.
be awesome. I'd love to see all these people, but we don't really have time for that.
Right, and I'm sure they're not the space either.
No, yeah.
And so I've heard a rumor that you did a TED Talk too.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
It was terrifying. No, it was really, really fun.
Okay.
I was brought in because I'm kind of lively, and the people who were there were very knowledgeable about. They're doctors. They have all these degrees, and I can speak about the value of getting on your feet and acting things out, and how I approach that, and how it helps teachers to approach that. Okay. So they sort of put me on last. So it was hilarious. It was Dr. Carol.
Oh gosh, you don't give yourself enough
credit. But I had a blast, and we talked about all these different programs that I've done and how teachers can approach. Some subject that make it new, just put it on its feet and act it out.
Nice. Well, as somebody who finds education easier learning by doing, and having children that are the same way, I really appreciate this extra layer that we can offer to the school systems.
Thank you. Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the Tellabration celebration that'll be happening here on November 19th. Stay with us.
I'm a first-generation Filipino American. You don't always feel you're a part of the country you live in. It's this weird middle space sometimes that you have to live inside of. But when you meet others that are also living in that space, you'll learn to know that it's its own unique space too.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays. Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back to At Your Library. Here with us today is Carol Glynn from the Connecticut Storytelling Center. And on November 19th, here at the Groton Public Library, we are going to have a Tellabration celebration with our teller, Carol. So let's start right from the beginning. What is Tellabration?
It's a celebration of story. It was started in 1988 by J.J. Pinkerton, and he started it in about 6 counties in Connecticut. but by the next, it was celebration to show that, to really keep the art of storytelling alive and let people appreciate it, and also that it's for adults. Sometimes people think it's just only for kids.
Okay.
But by the next year, it was in a couple states, and by a couple years later, it was in many countries. It's an international celebration. In Connecticut, we celebrated at the Storytelling Center by sending tellers. We have 33 Tellabrations going on this year, all over the state. They're in preschools, they're in schools, they're in senior centers, they're in libraries, they're in all different ages and levels with all different sort of focuses. Some are people telling, we have tellers telling about Connecticut, and then they help the people in the audience tell stories about where they live and different parts about their town. We have ones about where they invite the local preschool kids in to see somebody. So every single one of them is different, which makes it really, really fun.
And it's all on the same date?
No.
Okay.
Good. That's a good question. It originally was started as one night, and then it expanded to a weekend. And now in Connecticut, with us anyway, it happens all month long.
So it's always in November then?
Yeah, it's November is the plan.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And it's international, but it started right here in our home state of Connecticut?
Yes. Yes.
That's actually very exciting to think that, we have some good things that come out of here.
We do. We definitely do.
So our event is going to be on a Saturday morning,
Yep.
November 19th at 10 a.m. here. What will our Tellabration look like?
So last year I performed a Tellabration here, and it was just the beginning of the pandemic, and people, not the beginning, the end of the pandemic,
Okay.
and people were like, do we go out? We had a small audience, and we had such a good time. Everybody really wanted to be there, and I told my Connecticut Legends show.
Okay.
Everyone was in it. So I spoke to people at Groton this year. I decided it might be kind of fun to bring active pieces from many of the different shows that I do. So we have a little history, we have little younger kids, we have legends, we have stories about growing up, with all these different stories, but a lot of them involve audience members getting a chance to be in it.
Okay, how does that work?
Because, well, it's part of, if you do an assembly, you're used to saying, and I need 3 people to come up and join me, and you'll be so-and-so, you'll be so-and-so, and you sort of feed them the lines and talk them through, but they get to be in it. So it's not just one, storytelling isn't always one person standing there talking, it's often all of the people in the audience. So I brought a lot of those pieces so that we could all come and celebrate together.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. I think I'm working that day. I might be here. If not, I'll have to come anyways. I know, I would love that. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, a fundraiser?
Yes.
The actual Tellabration is the fundraiser, or there's fundraising going on all the time?
The way that Connecticut Storytelling Center works is we really want to extend storytelling to a lot of venues, senior centers, or places that may not have money to have a professional performer in their site. So Tellabration is a great place to do that. So we at the center drop the prices to half, sometimes less than half, and so performers can go out and do that. But the way we can do that is that the tellers at the storytelling, members of the Connecticut Storytelling Center community, we volunteer and donate our time to the center.
Excellent.
So in exchange, the center raises money so that we can keep the programs going and keep doing 10,000 Kids in Schools and keep doing the festival and keep promoting storytelling in general. But it's just sort of a way of giving back and celebrating story altogether.
Oh, that is really awesome. It's so nice to hear when people and families can come out and it's not going to cost. I mean, just going to the movies this day is just really unreachable.
Crazy.
If you have 4 kids, forget it.
Yes.
But to come to something like this that is so interactive and educational and fun, and knowing that you could do it in the library, of course, is always about reaching the most people for what they need in the community.
Yes.
So this sounds like a really amazing event. So that's on November 19th at 10 a.m.
Yes.
Here at the library. If you have any questions, you can go to our website or give us a call here at the library. Just to get off topic a little bit, let's talk a little bit about the trail book that you wrote.
So, thank you. So, one of the legends I tell in my Connecticut Legends show is called, it's the Legend of Bride Brook. And it happens, and so right now, the East Lyme Library and the Connecticut Humanities set up a grant to write, they have story walks around, it's Samuel Peretz Park.
Because that is the Bride Brook?
But it used to be Bride Brook Park, now it's Samuel Peretz Park at Bride Brook. But this Connecticut history legend took place literally within feet of the park. Like right next to the park, it's North Bride Brook Road. Right there's that happened. So I wrote a storybook the storybook trail that people can walk around and read the book and learn about a legend that happened right where they're standing.
That is
but we also-
really great.
Thanks, and it's fun. It's very colorful. It's sort of for all ages. It's got, you know, colorful fish being goofy and all kinds of funs at the same thing too. Yes.
Is that up for a limited amount of time, or?
It's up until, it's been there since July. It's up until November 30th.
Okay, so people still have time to go in with this great weather, fall
Yes,
time, perfect
yes,
time
it's
for an
been,
outside.
It's been awesome. Yes.
Excellent. I guess lastly, let's just talk a little bit about, is this what you do full time, or do you have another career, or
No.
how does this work?
This is my career. I've been doing this. This is my adult career. I've been doing this. It changes a little bit. You do a little bit more of this or this kind of project. I do a lot of residencies. I am pretty much booked for residencies for the school year right now.
Fantastic.
And I do, but I'll throw in with the pandemic. I had a chance to write a story, Book Trail. I wrote a play on addiction for Community Speaks Out in Groton.
Oh, we
during
love
the
that community.
pandemic.
We support them very much here. Yes.
They're unbelievable. And so I had a chance to try some different things during the pandemic, a little bit more, but I definitely, this is what I do. I'm in a different place every day, which fits my bizarre personality. And I get a chance to meet a lot of people and learn a lot of things.
Excellent. So for our Tellabration here on November 19th, is there a special theme? Is it a title? Does it have, how would you
You know
describe
what?
it?
I don't
Just
know if we didn't decide
or-
a title, but basically come be in the show.
Okay.
Basically.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being with
Thank
us
you.
today.
Thanks for having me.
If you would like to come to Tellabration, it is November 19th here at 10 a.m. at the Groton Public Library. And as always, thanks for checking in.